Okay, dokey. Everybody, put your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. We are here and we are ready to kick things off for episode 92 of Whatchu Spinnin. We welcome you. I am Dorian, joined as always by Matt and Jake, my brethrens, my homies, two of the best musical opinions in the game. But anyway, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Incredible.
It was so nice being in person last week or a couple weeks ago. So this feels a little different, but we do what we can. We'll take what we can get. Yeah. If we can do it in person once in a while, that's great. I had a fun time. So thank you both for that. It was good. Good shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say next time you guys come on over to my parts of the woods, we should meet up and do an episode or just hang out. It'd be fun.
Yeah, we got that ski trip planned next winter, right, Dorian?
Yeah, absolutely.
See ya.
We'll be passing through. I'll just next time we drive to Utah, we'll bring Matt to Bend, do a quick ebb, and then buy him a bus
Throw
ticket,
me in the
send
trunk.
him back.
Just drop him off.
Hell yeah. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, no, that was a blast a couple weeks back. That was a good time. Good to get together and just hang out, man. Just a good hang, talking about music and shit. This will have to suffice for today. Yes. But always a pleasure to talk music, whether we're apart or together. But yeah, I mean, we'll ask the typical question. What's anybody listen to anything cool other than the usual suspects?
I've been all over the place lately. I feel like I've found so many different avenues to go down that I don't know where to start or where to finish. And so each day I'll just pick a different one and go down that genre. Lately it's been kind of that 60s, 70s stuff that I brought up last podcast with the Monks. Dove into some other albums because there's a radio station for that specific band, and it just brings a whole plethora of things that you can just listen to. There's a band called Silver Apples. Weird space 60s rock that shouldn't even exist, but it does. And most of it's unlistenable, but for the most part you can find some gems, so that's been fun. That album that I shared with you guys a few weeks ago, ML Bush or ML Buch, dove down that album. It's a little bit more female oriented, a little ambient, a little rock heavy, but overall a great album. Arcade Fire released a new album, Pink Elephant. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I thought that was a solid album. I listened to it mostly on Friday, back to front. Man, it's mellow and it's catchy and it's Arcade Fire style, and I thought it was pretty good. Other than that, the same old stuff. Gollywog, that album is interesting as fuck. That's why I got Brother Lynch in the background there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that have reviewed the album so far are not really a fan of Billy Woods in general, and so you get a mixed bag of opinions, which is fine. It's fair. It's not a hip hop album. You're not going to bump that rolling down the street ever, but at the same time, if you appreciate where he's coming from and the lyricism that he represents, like, it's a great album. It's fun. It's unique. It's Billy Woods. Like, he's doing his thing, right? I mean, you can't argue with that.
Right. Yeah. It's it's interesting to see him go from releasing Maps 2 years ago to like going right back to that like Aethiop's harder to swallow type of music that he was making, and the production on it's fucking crazy. The features on it are insane too. Bruiser Wolf, we love that guy.
So good. Dude, as soon as he starts cutting his thing, I'm just like, yes. Keep going.
I was stoked. I was like, I must have forgot that he was on the track list, but that was certainly something. Yeah, I really like the features. Some crazy words going on there. Very, very good though. I certainly liked it. I think it's definitely like I said, in that kind of Aethiop's vein of you're not gonna, like you said, bump it rolling down the street. I did play it going to work the other day, and that was kind of an experience in and of itself, stuck in morning traffic listening to some really haunting shit is really fun. But yeah, I certainly enjoyed it too.
Yeah, cool features on there. That D Spot guy that was hip hopping on there, it sounds really good. I like to hear more of his stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I like it so far too. I need to listen to it more. I heard it once, like throughout when it came out, front to back. Definitely pretty out there. I mean, that's pretty standard for Billy Woods. Kind of leaning more towards like spooky horrorcore kind of in a way. Like I don't know what track it was, but the production, it's like just like a female like crying,
yeah,
sampled over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. That kind of threw me off.
Fucking preservation beat, dude.
Yeah, like some like good drumless tracks on here, solid features. So I think it'll age like fine wine. I mean, most things Billy Woods, most things coming out of that camp is good, but I definitely got to sit on it more. I got to listen to it more. I have been I've been kind of getting weird with music. I've been getting back into like reggaeton, like early 2000s reggaeton. So like Daddy Yankee or Don Omar or like Zion y Lennox. Like I don't know why, man. I don't know why. Yeah, some of that. Been spinning. We spun K Tronada a couple of days ago. Spun Caliucci's new album that just came out. Me and my girlfriend really like Caliucci's. Kind of like, it's like a very like love sobby album. We were kind of expecting something more upbeat, something more like high energy, but it was good. Got to listen to it more. And then these albums, just been digging on these albums, been reading up on them, kind of getting to know more about them. Pretty long album on some of these. Some of them are short, so kind of good to get a little mix of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can kind of like chop up the workload of today's albums. You can like go listen to Dave Matthews up until you get to Tim Reynolds' like little solo instrumental, and then consider that your set break, and then come back and finish it. It's literally what I did. But yeah, just these 3 albums, the usual suspects, the Gollywog, great album. As I'll keep saying, we got like a little good mix of weather this time around, in between episodes. I went back and listened to that American football album that we covered. Tuned one of my guitars super funky so I could try to learn some of that shit. Made me appreciate that album so much more, like actually looking at how some of that shit was played. So nerded out about that. That was like all last weekend, actually. I was just in here listening to American football and playing guitar. So that was really fun. And then Deftones' self-titled album from 2003 has like some good like emotional stuff on it, but also like really good like classic old school early 2000s Deftones stuff. So that's been good to play, when it's sunny after work but raining on the way in type of thing. Anything else? No.
Have you listened to American Football's second album?
I haven't yet.
Dude, like, do it today. Yesterday, if you can. Like, if you can go back in time and try it, just you should.
Isn't that, it's like called LP2 or something like that?
Yeah.
Second album. Okay. Noted.
You're just like, okay, that was a good album. The first one, you're like, they can't get any better than that. And then they do.
They do. Excellent. And then I got in the mail, so the night that you guys came over, I was sitting and I was Discogs shopping and saw Cyro by Aphex Twin, cheaper than I had ever seen it. And I was like, oh, incredible. So I got that and I've been listening to that, spinning that a lot. He won a Grammy for that album back in like 2015. It's like the most techno adjacent album that he ever put out. So that's a good listen. Go ahead and give that a listen. But yeah, other than that, just these albums, and I'm mighty stoked to talk about them. Let me tell you. With that being said, we ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, baby. All right, sucker.
Fireball.
Okay. We will be right back to talk about today's picks. I'm up first. It's going to be a blast. Go ahead and stay tuned. It's Whatchu Spinnin episode 92. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Okay. What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's time to dive right on into today's content. I'm super stoked to talk about these. It's been a damn good 2 weeks. Some similar stuff, some stuff that's similar to what we've been talking about, So I'm stoked. But today we got to start it off with my pick for this week. We're going back in time to 1983. With the debut album from Mr. Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, Texas Flood. Like I said, debut 1983. Stevie Ray Vaughan, one of the best to ever do it as far as playing guitar goes. I saw a comment on Reddit today of like it was a Stevie Ray Vaughan clip, and someone said he was playing Jimi Hendrix, and someone said the only thing I love more than listening to Jimi Hendrix is listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan play Jimi Hendrix. So feel like that's a solid comparison and a good intro. I've loved this album, obviously, but what'd y'all think?
How did you stumble upon Stevie Ray Vaughan in general, like as a musician? Like, not this album specifically, but just like, oh, I'm gonna start listening to this person.
I think this was a stepdad recommendation back in the day.
Okay.
It was kind of. I think he showed me Texas Flood in general, and I was like, oh, this is fucking crazy, because it was when I was starting to play guitar, so this is like I must have been like 12 or 13, and he sat me down and like had Texas Flood on a hard drive. He was one of those guys that I was like, you for sure pirated music for a long ass time, because he just had a massive hard drive. But anyway, he played the song Texas Flood for me, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man. And so I just kind of took that and ran with it, and have always loved this album. There's some other stuff that he's done. I couldn't name another album off the top of my head, but there's like offshoot other pieces that I love of his. But yeah, he's insane. He's an incredible guitar player. And yeah, it was like, that was very influential on me at the time as a young guitar player. So that's kind of where I found that.
That's very cool. I've always heard his stuff, throughout my life, and never really dove into an album. And I feel like this is the perfect album to dive into. I didn't realize it was done so early in the 80s, like 83, I believe. Super early. I feel like it's way ahead of its time, honestly. I know he's a blues guitarist. He's doing blues riffs. It's all a lot of basic stuff, maybe from the 60s and 70s, but his flair and the way he does it, it sounds brand new to me. Like Texas Flood, insane, Rude Mood. These songs are so good. Like his style and the way he approaches the instrument is so unique. It's too bad that he, wasn't here for too long, but this album cemented his legacy, in my opinion. Like all these songs are killer. It's so much fun. It was a fun album to listen to, and it was nice to actually listen to an album back to front from him and appreciate what he does on the guitar. It's so unique. And like you open with, people love Jimi Hendrix, but they love when he plays Jimi Hendrix. It's a great segue. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, it's Stevie Ray Vaughan is like a name everyone knows. Like you've heard of it. I just wasn't familiar with actually his music. I know he was a talented guitar just by what people say. But same, my first introduction to actually hearing a full project of his that he did. And yeah, you hear it all throughout. Like the first couple of songs, he's doing the stuff with his band and also vocals. But then there's some like instrumental tracks on here where you hear that guitar, you hear why people say he was one of the greatest of all time, and it makes total sense. because you hear him playing and it's just legendary. It sounds insane. It sounds amazing from what he was doing. So kind of cool that he also like with this kind of segued him into like getting more recognition from people, from other musicians, from other labels. Like he got like pretty much like a co-sign from David Bowie, and he helped him on his album that he was doing that came out the same year, Let's Dance. So it's cool that like that segued into that that he was so talented that everyone else kind of saw that around him. So definitely got to listen to more of his stuff. I was never really aware of how good this guy was, so now I am. So thank you, because this guy is fucking killer.
Yeah, he shreds, man. He's insanely talented. People have tried to figure out like what his practice regimen was like as far as guitar playing, because his fingers were like literally black from playing guitar so much. Like his guitars always beat to shit, and you really hear him just playing his ass off on this album. The fact that it's something that there's no question about. You hear this album, you're like, oh shit. You hear stuff like Texas Flood. There's stuff like the song Texas Flood. There's stuff in the middle of that where he's doing such crazy bends with the strings and everything that you're just like, how the fuck do you get there, man? Like what? It's really
like bending a string is hard enough, but
yeah,
to make it sound like that over and over, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's like doing these bends and like playing like strumming so fast, like it's just truly one of a kind, and we've talked about some insane guitar players on this, some insane musicians in general. But there's something about the fucking blues, man, and being a blues guitarist is like up there with being like a jazz pianist. Like they're just different beasts, There's a lot of emotion and a lot of technicality that kind of come into play with that. And because the blues, that's what it's all about, is like conveying emotion and everything. And he is he's a good vocalist, but he could just as easily convey all of that emotion if he was just playing instrumentally, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Stevie Ray. Fucking big ups, RIP.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I think
No,
you
it's
get a better
good.
appreciation too when you see him live. Like when you watch a live performance, like he is just like flawless the way he's playing the instrument. Like he's not even looking, honestly. He's just doing his thing. It's amazing. And I think that's where I first found his skills. Like I was like, damn, dude, he's just going for it. And he's not even it's effortless. And when a guitar player can do it effortlessly like that, it's fun to watch. So
He's just ripping the guitar up all throughout this, man. And I like that he kind of bends blues and rock kind of in the same genre almost. Like he kind of almost does like a fusion of both in a way. Like, Love Struck Baby, Pride and Joy is kind of more like bluesy, a little bit more like that field. And then you get songs like Testify or like Dirty Pool, where it's like just going, just throws that out of the window and just starts shredding. Like it's just him. So really cool. Really good stuff. I think this song perfectly like signifies what he was doing. It's like if you want to get to know what Stevie Ray Vaughan was doing, listen to this album. This is what he was about. So
hell yeah. I do love the backing band too, Double Trouble, if you will, if that's what they were referred to as. But yeah, the bassists on this are super solid also. And it's one thing, and it's kind of, you listen to other guitarists, like people that are known as being a guitarist, like Joe Satriani, let's say, Steve Vai. You listen to their albums and they're mixed to where they're mixed well, right? But the highlight is the guitar, obviously. This is one of those rare cases where they actually like mixed everything super evenly and super tight to where you can hear the drummer and the bassist and all of these other instruments just as well as the guitar, which is one of the things that I really liked about it. Because there is like some cool flashy little shit that the bass player will do. Like there's like cool walks that he's doing, and then blues drumming has a lot of swing in it, and so you kind of hear just the amalgamation of all of that is really, really tight, really solid. I'm glad that they that's like one of my favorite things about this album is that they mixed it really well. I guess I haven't seen anything that like for sure confirmed this, but Pride and Joy and I'm Crying are like the same song if you listen to them. They're just like slightly different, and the lyrics are all different. Word on the street is Stevie Ray Vaughan's girlfriend didn't like I'm Crying, I think is the one. And so he said, fuck that, I'll go ahead and redo it then. And then he just said, fuck it again, and was like, here's both versions on the album. So she apparently was bitching out into the lyrics. And so he's like, fine, I'll fucking write one about you then or whatever. And so just redid it.
Nice.
Damn. That's funny. I do like all the like he's doing like Voodoo Child and Little Wing on this. That's fucking awesome that he's playing like some Jimmy stuff. And I think that shows a lot for him too as a musician. Like you got to have some balls to be doing that. Like, you can't really pull off you know, trying to play something like that, especially live. So I love his takes on that also. They're solid. So definitely I gotta listen to more of his stuff. I mean, this usually isn't like my alley, like blues and like kind of this style, but for what it is, if you can appreciate this, like if you can appreciate the guitar playing, like it's, you know, you don't like what music is about, because that's what it's about. So
right. Yeah, it is. I was listening to it and I was like, this is like one of the more kind of head turners that we've brought up in a while, you know, kind of getting more into that like country territory, which is kind of like a huge leap, especially from where we just were with, like, you know, I was thinking about it today listening to this. I was like, man, 2 episodes ago we had some of the weirdest Japanese shit like ever that we were talking about, and now we're just talking about rootin' tootin' blues music, man. I was like, so but you know, it's getting to summertime, you know, throw this on and have an ice cold soda pop and some burgers on the barbecue, and it's going to be a damn good time. But that being said, shall we top 3 it up?
We shall.
Hell yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's do it then. I will start off. Honorable mention for me, Tell Me. Felt like that was a good song, a good tone shift after coming out right after Texas Flood in the track list there. So that was good. Liked that. Number 3 for me, the ending track, Lenny, for the studio release. Kind of just a little instrumentalist, a lot of Stevie there. Really like that. Number 2, Dirty Pool. Crazy good song, man. Really, really liked that this time around. Almost broke my number 1, but Texas Flood, man, one of my favorite songs of all time. So got to give that as my number 1. But yeah, those are my top 3.
Go ahead, Jake.
Nice. Honorable mention was Love Struck Baby and Pride and Joy for me. Just because I like the lyrics that he's putting on there. And also kind of hearing his voice. That was cool. I like how like really good guitarists also sing, and their voice is either really good or really shot. Like Jimmy, for example, also kind of had like a weird voice when he'd sing. So I'm sure a lot of other musicians are like that. But number 3, Dirty Pool. I love the bluesiness of that song. That really kind of stuck out. And I just realized my list is kind of very similar to yours, Dorian. Number 2, Lenny. I love that ending of the album with that instrumental. Perfect. I love an instrumental track. You know me. And my favorite song was Testify. Also instrumental. Crazy good guitar that he was doing on that. So really blew me away.
Yeah, I feel like our lists are all very similar. For me, honorable mention, Texas Flood. Just great title track and all around fun. Number 3, Lenny. Again, we all agree that's a great track. Rude Mood. I like that song. That was catchy to me and just kind of had a funky vibe to it. And then I'm gonna agree with Jake. Testify is my favorite track. Like that was the one for me. Just hit all the spots. And Pride and Joy. That's such a fun song. That's you've heard that song. You've heard it somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Like you know that's Stevie Ray Vaughan, and so love that.
Yeah. Those iconic, a lot of iconic intros, like intros to songs on this, the Texas Flood, Pride and Joy. You hear those opening notes, you're like, yep, all right, that's SRV, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, fuck yeah. This is one that I've kind of flirted with bringing up a handful of times lately, so I'm glad I finally pulled the trigger. That album being 1983's debut album from Mr. Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. He's one of the best, man. Go ahead and listen to it. But that does it for me for Whatchu Spinnin' episode 92. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about Jake's, but stick around. Oh, that's one that I did actually last week. I went on a Gary Newman day, fucking listening to Telecon and Pleasure Principle and shit.
Oh, yes. You have both albums, right? You just got the Pleasure Principle. You haven't gotten Pleasure Principle.
I have Pleasure Principle. I don't have Telecon.
Oh shit!
There's a sick ass.
Need to get a copy.
There's a sick ass OBI pressing of Telecon that I have in my want list on Discogs. I'm waiting for it to not be $150 because it's fucking dope.
Shit.
It's like the disc is like crazy looking and it's got an OBI strip. Yeah.
Telecon? What?
Yeah, Telecon. I was telling him, I was like, I saw that you had Pleasure Principle, and I had a day last week where I just like find Telecon and Pleasure Principle and listen to the tracks off of those at work. Fucking Please Push No More, man. I'm an agent. Come on, dude.
I'm an agent.
Fuck. The Noomster.
The Noomster. Unique as fuck. That bar.
Yeah. He was 22 when he put out Telecon, dude. He was 22 years old.
Back then, you could just do shit. Like, everything was so new and experimental. The instruments that were coming out, and nobody had done music like that. You know, you got the 70s, there was all that glammy kind of ELO, fucking Rush style, and then the 80s, that was early electro. And it was like, there was so much. It was almost like the 60s again with the Beatles and like that rock, that British invasion. It was almost like that in a more of a alternative form, I guess. And that just spanned, I mean, we should be talking about this on the cast anyways. But yeah, never mind.
Oh no, I'll put this in. Fuck it.
I just feel like I feel like from 1980 up until, 2000, there was that alternative wave of music that just came from the electro aspect, as much as nobody likes the glam rock aspect, and then the grunge, and then the new metal. It's just, there's so many different genres that were spanned in that time frame, and it's amazing to see how much that's progressed and how other bands have kind of found their own sound, whether it's Sleep Token combining all different genres, or bands we brought up on this podcast in the past. It's fun. It's such an amazing transformation.
Yeah. And it is kind of like once people started messing with synthesizers, that's when shit really took off, Like you just kind of said, it was like you just mentioned 5 genres, and there's like 100 others that came
in between,
right
all those subgenres. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just like old Gare Bear, some 21-year-old British boy, just fucking boop, 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 and then unintentionally spawns this. Because, I mean, he didn't exactly like reinvent the wheel, but these albums were fucking huge. Like Cars is still played. ME is sampled all the fucking time. Like there's just the amount of stuff that, and everyone and their mom, you look it up and everybody's like, yeah, Gary Newman inspired me or influenced me. And it's like, yeah, it's everywhere, man. It's so crazy. But we could go back and talk.
We could make a podcast about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
An episode.
I was gonna say, go back and listen to episode 40 whatever and 60 what's its nuts, where we talked about Telecon and Pleasure Principle. The Telecon episode was actually really fun. That was when we had Alex.
That was the guest. Yeah, it was fun.
Freddie Gibbs and To Pimp a Butterfly. That's a really good episode, actually. Go back and listen to that one at the very least. Fuck yeah, guys. That's good. That's staying in. But yeah, so that was our little Gary Newman appreciation section. Go ahead and listen to those episodes. Listen to those 2 albums. They're fucking fantastic. We've got another just as powerful album. This is one that's been getting really popular here in the past couple of years. I feel like I just keep seeing it and seeing it and seeing it. It's Jake's pick for this week. What do you got, my man?
Yeah. Kept feeding you and feeding you. Hiroshi Yoshimura um, came out in '86. The album is called Surround. Hiroshi Yoshimura. Um, Similar around kind of 3 years later to what Stevie Vaughan came out, what he was doing. This album, um, yeah, like Dorian said, has been getting a lot of recognition lately. A lot of this guy's work specifically has been. Green, that album, also I feel like has been blowing up, kind of been all over the place. Music for Nine Postcards, amazing. But this one in particular, I came across not too long ago. I picked it up in the record store. Picked it up at Moonrock like 2 months ago or a month ago when I was in Eugene, and I had heard about this guy. I had heard a couple songs off Green, and I was like, I recognize that name. I know this is good stuff. Let's listen to it. And I picked it up. I know you guys might be familiar. The listeners may or may not be. So yeah, let's talk about it. What do you guys think about it?
Well, tell, or I can see why this made it as much into Matt's top 5 for Spotify as it did. There's really good stuff here. I might just have to add the whole album to my ambient playlist because it's just that strong, and they're just really really great songs. His use of synth is really really nice and like very tasteful. His just like the sampling that he uses, just like nature sounds and stuff, it's very very unique, and something that I was like, man, I'm so glad I waited to like have this much time to have to listen to it, to be able to do this. But yeah, man, like starting off with Time After Time, love when an album starts off with an 11-minute song and then no other song on the album is longer than that. But yeah, Time After Time, really strong start all the way down to Green Shower, really strong finish. 6 tracks, less than 40 minutes, get in, get out. But goddamn, it's really something. This is a majestic ass album, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what that instrument is that he's using on that first track, Time After Time. It's some sort of wind instrument, isn't it? It's like he's like tapping something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that's called. Yeah. And I feel like somebody playing that instrument for so long can get really repetitive, but this song does not at all. This was on my top 5. I listened to this album when I was doing my morning routine at work because it was so calm. I think anything that you can put in the background that you don't really hear sometimes is great. You refer to it as like furniture music or dinner music, things that are in the background that you just don't listen to, but they're like catchy and you can just put there and people dig, and it has an effect on you. And for this to be on my Spotify list for so long, I played it every morning. It just felt right. And so he hit something, and he's just so unique. I think this album was created too just out of just a random album. Like it wasn't even meant to be an album. I think it was for like some sort of product or something, wasn't it?
I think so, because he was doing like he was all over the place. Like he was making music for like theaters and like commercials and like shopping centers. Like he was kind of just experimenting with a bunch of stuff and kind of making stuff out of nothing. And this is one of those. So you hear that all throughout.
I guess it was like released to help people when they were buying a new house or like some sort of like living amenity. Like it was played in the background, like as a calming sort of space.
Wow.
Perfect. Like, yes, please. But I mean, I'm glad that it reached another audience besides that audience, because this is like so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Good. Yeah. What's the better origin story? This being made to sell houses or Plantasia being sold with mattresses?
Right.
Answer in the comments which is the better origin story.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to have something, kind of as just, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like dismissed, as this album is, and then have it, get huge with the ambient community online is, I mean, incredible, it's kind of in the same vein as Plantasia, where you're like, thank God some nerd found this and shared it on some Tumblr feed back in 2011 or whatever, you know, because now we have like this whole and it's this whole new take on ambient almost, you know, because there is stuff on it like Time After Time Again. That instrument that he's playing is like sounds very much like something that you would hear over in Japan. You know, it's got that kind of I don't know what word to use. It's got that type of feel to it, to where you're like, oh shit, like this is badass. And I'd buy a goddamn house listening to this. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah. It does. That's funny you say that, Matt. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. And that's how the album makes me feel. Like it makes me feel like secure. Like it makes me feel relaxed. Like I can, if I'm listening to this, like everything's all right. Like everything is, you know, sunshines and rainbows in the world when I listen to this. Like it's so calming. It just like engulfs you in a big blanket, a big warm blanket, and you just, you know, relax, listen to it. You can listen to it anytime, and it's amazing. It's really good. It's really short. I wish it was longer. I wish there was more to this. Some tracks are like 2-3 minutes long. There's like 2 songs on here that are like 10 minutes. So, but for what it is, I mean, it's fantastic, and I think it makes a lot of sense because, like he kind of got a kick on Brian Eno and what he was doing, and that influenced him for what he was doing at this time, like these sounds, this work that he was doing. So it matches to a T to that. Like it fits perfectly in the ambient section of any record store. That this is the genre. This is what he was doing at the time. So.
And back when I was collecting vinyl, I remember walking through House of Records and walking over by the Japanese section. And when I bought that Piper album, I saw this album too. And I was like, okay, it just caught my eye, that serene blue background. It says surround. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to buy it at some point. And then I think I bought it at Moonrock too, because it was a little bit better priced. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did, because it's such an amazing album. And I think it helped me dive into the Japanese music scene in general for the 80s and the weird electro stuff we found. And it's been great. So happy that you brought this up. Great album.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I am too. And it is, to hear you say that it kind of, that you feel it probably sparked your kind of deep dive into the Japanese stuff, that's makes perfect sense. This is kind of like the perfect gateway drug into the slippery slope that is listening to Japanese music, because it's like, it's just different, man. Like, and I mean, you would think like I say that and I'm like, yeah, no shit, it's different. It's from, you know, a completely different place, but there's similarities and stuff that we hear every day over there, but it's just got its own spin on it. And you can easily go from listening to this, then your next album is fucking Kieran, you know, like it's just by happenstance, you know. It's just
or Kikagaku. I mean, that was another one that put me in that realm in general. Like, that's like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, other people are doing this. Like, oh my God, there's other music out there in other countries. It's amazing. And so, you know, this podcast is just a summarization of all those things we've loved and grown to love. So,
oh, absolutely. And and then, you know, you get into the Kikagakus and stuff, and then your next step is fucking Seychelles, and, you know, their pop music is just killer over there. City pop fucking rules. Like, I have yet to find a city pop project, you know, that I hate, you know, like they just kill. And this is no exception. Yoshimura, looked it up today. He's apparently like the guy for Japanese ambient music, and I mean, you listen to this and you can tell 30 minutes is not a lot of time, in my opinion, for an album. And he does some really fucking impressive stuff on this. There's some really, it's just it's hard to wrap your head around a little bit. You're just like, wow, that kind of goes, there's like cool almost guitar sounding stuff, you know, on Something Blue. It's I love it.
Yeah. He does like his sampling of like nature and like bird sounds and rainfall and like the rivers and everything. It ties in perfectly with like synths, with like a Moog sound almost. It fits in perfectly. Like, who knew he had the formula the whole time? He had it all along. And you hear that on the album. So I'm glad I was able to bring this up. I know Matt had heard it, and I know that once I saw it, it was only a matter of time before before it was being brought up either on the Japanese episode or this one. So yeah, great album. Definitely, if you're into this sort of music, listen to his other stuff. Green, I really like that album a lot. Music for Nine Postcards, I think, was his debut and also is spectacular. So yeah, fantastic work that he was doing.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you brought it up.
Oh yeah. So but without further ado, we can do our top songs, top tracks. For me, honorable mention. Man, there's only 6 tracks.
It's tough. Yeah,
tough. Honorable mention for me was Time Forest. Like that song a lot. The song titles also is like perfect. Time Forest, honorable mention. Number 3 was Water Plant. Really like that one. Number 2 was Surround, the title track. I love the synthiness of that, and it just kind of goes in and out of those sounds. And then my favorite track, Green Shower. I was really getting into that one this last couple times that I've been hearing it. Just because I pay attention a lot to the first half of the album with like Time After Time, but then wrapping up with Green Shower, it's just like it's perfect for the ending. So
yep.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's 6 tracks, so you almost feel bad for leaving 2 of them out, or how many ever you decide to leave out, but everything's great on this. Honorable mention for me was Water Planet. Not a lot going on in that song, but it's what it lacks in things going on, it makes up for in just like a good serene mood it puts me in when I listen to that one. Number 3 for me, Green Shower. As I said when I started talking about this at the beginning of the segment, felt like that was a really strong ending to the album, and especially to come right after Water Planet. It's a good way to wrap the album up. Number 2, talked about this one a lot, Time After Time. Wonderful song. Go ahead and listen to that one if you don't listen to anything else. But number 1 for me was Something Blue. That little bam, bam, bam. Don't know why, but that's just like, just makes me happy. Just makes me smile even talking about it. So Something Blue.
And I felt like this album had a very like water, like even the album cover being blue was very like water oriented, and you get that feeling throughout the whole album. But for being honorable mention, Time After Time, that feels like it's underwater, and he's playing that instrument underwater. And as much as you don't think that instrument's gonna work, it does the whole song. You're not gonna get tired of it. That was my hang up. I was like, oh dude, this is gonna be the song the whole time, but it grows on you. So honorable mention for sure. Number 3, Green Shower. Love that track. Time Forest was number 2, and then my favorite track was Something Blue. Felt like that kind of cemented everything for me and just brought it all together.
Absolutely.
Love this album.
Great pick, Jake. That pick being Surround from Hiroshi Yoshimura, released in 1986. Some good old Japanese ambient music. Listen to that. Listen to episode 90 of this podcast for some other good recommendations in that realm. But yeah, that was Jake's pick for this week. This episode 92 of Whatchu Spinnin. We got to wrap this bad boy up as far as today's content with a good ass live album coming from my main man, Matt. Stick around. We'll be right back. It's Whatchu Spinnin. Hell yeah. Well, let's introduce the album, huh? We are back and ready to go for Whatchu Spinnin' episode 92's third and final album of today's content and coverage. It's a long one. It's a good one. And I'm stoked to talk about it. It's Matt's pick. What you got, man?
We're going back to the 90s. We like to hang out in the 90s sometimes. We're more like a college rock 90s with Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds live at Luther College. An album they did together before Dave got famous with his band. Dave Matthews Band, who we will not talk about on this podcast, but today we'll talk about these two because together this is acoustic madness in its finest. And I felt it appropriate since I talked about Crosby and Nash, Another Stony Evening. And this kind of ties into that. They get goofy, they talk, they have their interludes and their little whatever between songs. But the guitar work on this is way, way high caliber. Like the things that Tim Reynolds does on the guitar, you're not supposed to be able to do on an acoustic guitar, let alone any guitar. And together, some of the songs you've heard before, some of them were not famous at that time and then became an album favorite. There's so many hidden tracks that are great. It's a double album, pretty long. It's probably one of the longest we've talked about on this podcast. So I apologize for making you guys listen to it for so long. But as I said before, you can skip Crash. You got to listen to that again. I like it just because it's unique. I remember the first time that I heard it, I had a friend in high school that was a very avid Dave Matthews fan and would overplay the band a lot. Every time we'd be in the car, he'd play it. Every time we'd be at his house, he'd play it. If we were having a party at his house, he played the fucking band. And it's just like, okay, I get it. And so I would never want to listen to him. But one night we were taking mushrooms and Warehouse came on and a typical situation came on. Both the songs came on together within unison because they're on the same side. And I was tripping my balls off. I was like, oh, this is cool shit. And then let alone Dave Matthews. I'm like, okay, I've got some love for him now because of the guitar work and it's trippy as fuck. And it just blended so well together. And I became a fan right away. And it's live and it's acoustic guitar. Like I said a minute ago, to do these things that they're doing on the guitar is amazing. So what'd you guys think?
Yeah, this is pretty unique, man. As you said, high caliber acoustic guitar stuff. Before Dave Matthews was Dave Matthews, and apparently like Tim Reynolds went on to join the band like 12 years after this. So he's like now an official member. So that's pretty cool that he joined DMB as a full-time member. I had heard Dave Matthews Band, like his actual band a handful of times. Not saying that I hated it, but I just never got into it. And now I'm listening to this and I'm like, shit, man, this guy's the fucking man. I'm like he's really a beast on that acoustic guitar, and his voice is funky, but like that's kind of like the whole thing, is that it's the it was the late 90s, early aughts, that's what motherfuckers were doing. Yeah, but Tim Reynolds is doing some crazy stuff. Using an acoustic guitar and effects pedals is like just automatic respect. If you're if you're doing that type of crazy shit, hey, all the power to you. He's using like weird phaser pedals and delays and all sorts of stuff. So that's really cool. And then their interlude and banter and everything is hilarious. It's one of my favorite things about live albums. You get the little tidbits and stuff like that. And man, people just love Dave Matthews. You hear the crowd just losing their shit for some of these songs. I'm like, dude, this is 1996. Like,
you're like, settle down.
Wasn't even an album. Yeah, exactly.
He just started playing the guitar. Yeah. He has other songs. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably living under a rock. I've never heard of Dave Matthews or Tim Reynolds. Maybe just because I never was exposed to this type of music, or I was never really into it. But I've never really heard of him or his band. So this is my first introduction to, I guess, kind of the start of it. Pretty good. I like it. I like it brings the live feel to it, and it's pretty well mixed. All things considered, sure, you can hear the the people in the background, the audience go crazy, but it's pretty solid. Like some live albums that you can hear someone chewing gum in the background in the third row in the audience, and then this, it's for the most part pretty good. So I like that about it. And the acoustics on it, the guitar work on it is really good. I think they had really good chemistry. Like we've already talked about, they joke around in between the beginning and ending of songs. They have some interludes going on, some cool instrumental stuff that they were doing. So, pretty solid. I was a fan from first listen. It's a pretty long album. But Matt, I think I got you beat. The first album I brought up this whole podcast was like 2 hours and a half.
Nice.
So,
All right, I don't feel so bad now. Huh.
yeah, but no, it's a great listen. Great listen. The more and more that I heard, the more and more I started appreciating it. And like I said, I don't know anything about these guys, so I don't know why they get so much shade or why Dave Matthews gets so much shade. We don't have to get into it if we don't have to, but no, it's pretty solid.
I'm glad you liked it. I think it's a good introduction to him as a musician in general because you appreciate what he's doing on the instrument and then also as a songwriter before he was famous, before he had Crash and before he was, mainstream, which again, if you don't know that, that's great because it's fresh. And I think this is the Dave Matthews you want to hear. Believe me, this is what you want to hear. This is the acoustic Dave. This is raw and this is like Dorian said, the acoustics and the effects. It's like, come on. You're not supposed to be able to do that with a guitar.
No.
Let alone an acoustic guitar, but he does it. And Tim Reynolds, I think playing so fast adds that aspect of finish and like uniqueness to it. And without that, it's not as good. He blends that so well. And I'm glad that he's a part of the band now and having this back when it was so early on in his career. It just showcases the uniqueness of what he was doing and what he was going to become as a musician. So it's a lot of fun. There's so many different songs on this album too, whether it's the hits or the hidden gems like Halloween, where it's just kind of like bing 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 doo, like it's all kind of funky like that. He's just being funny. It's just fun to hear that live aspect and know that musicians can goof off on stage and still play their instrument and create a catchy tune. It's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm glad. Thank you for bringing up Halloween because I wanted to talk about that song, man. So this was kind of like, this whole podcast is based off of being curious and, hearing one thing and wanting to hear more, right?
Yeah.
And so I heard Halloween and I thought the same thing. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I was like, I want to hear what this sounds like with the full band. When I tell you, I listened to 5 fucking seconds of the record, like the studio version of this, turned it off. I was like, this is dog shit.
Nope.
I was like, this fucking sucks. Yeah. And then I went back and listened to this version and I was like, oh yeah. I was like, this fucking rules. It's not in my top 3, but I was like, hey, this song kicks ass. But like the quickness with which I was like, I'm back. No, sorry guys, I'm right here. I'm coming back. And I love that. With that being said, I love how well these songs translate to being stripped down to just 2 guys and 2 guitars. Like that really says something for the music as a whole. And you listen to this, and it's like, yes, Dave Matthews kicks ass at playing acoustic guitar. That's crazy. Like he's built the whole career off of that. Shout out to him. But the guy can write lyrics too. Like you look at the lyrics of some of these songs and you listen to them and you're like, holy shit, this is like actually super poetic or introspective and like evokes so much emotion that I'm like, this guy's kind of got to go. Like this guy's kind of killing it. Like honestly. And yeah, that being said, very well written lyrics and acoustic guitars. That's just like peanut butter and honey. That's a formula as old as time, my friend. So I do love that. I think this is a great album.
No, it's solid. I did kind of look into a little bit, and I was reading up on it, and I was trying to find some information about like them individually and their own works that they were doing. I guess a lot of some of the songs on this were released on another album, like on the actual band that they did, which I think is what you guys are saying when you said don't listen to Crash. I think that's what you guys are referencing, right?
Yeah.
I did see that, and a lot of these songs, like number 41, like some of these other songs are on that. So, is it worth a listen? Should I do it? Should I torture myself and get on it?
In my opinion, I would leave it raw like it is. I feel like I don't even listen to those studio albums. Like songs like Satellite, Tripping Billies, like you don't want to hear the studio versions. Like this is the raw, like I don't know, the harmonies and what he's doing. Like you don't need to hear the polished version, I feel like.
Okay.
But if you want to, you can. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is where you're like, okay, I can respect Dave.
Okay.
I think outside of I echo that sentiment, I would say. Other than the hits, the hits are the hits for a reason. Like I personally like the DMB version of Ants Marching is a little more catchy in my opinion, though it is cool to like hear the acoustic version. It's one of those type of things. But yeah, I don't have enough experience to like know, other than the hits off of this album, I don't know those studio versions. But yeah, I could agree with the stuff I do know on that.
Okay. Cool. Now I know, because I do like these versions a lot. Like Trippin' Billy's, I like that song a lot. Like in some songs here, he's like not necessarily scatting, but it's like kind of like some weird vocal thing that he's doing. The acoustic guitar is amazing. I assume that's Tim Reynolds that's doing it. That's really good. So yeah, if this is my first introduction and my last, I'm cool with just listening to this live album and just front to back every now and then. But no, pretty solid. I like it.
Nice. I'm glad you guys liked it. You know, it's a good live album. It's got everything you need on it, from slower songs to catchier songs. Songs like a Christmas song, which is kind of slowed down but kind of catchy and kind of jingly in its own form. I think this album has a song for everybody on it, even if you're not a fan of Dave Matthews. Me being that person, like, I find love. I bought this. Like, it's, you know.
That's the funniest part. Is it's like the one person I know who just like, you're just like basically fuck Dave Matthews Band. You're like the biggest co-signer for this album, and I love it. That's how that just speaks volumes about it. That's just like, you know, hey, if anything, if you want to understand like how good this album is, like that, there you go. There's your example.
And it's just two dudes and two guitars. Like, it's fucking like so basic, but it's so good. Like, and it's them, you know, doing their thing, and that's why this is on vinyl. Thank God.
Yeah.
I've never bought a box set, but I feel like this is a solid one.
Oh yeah,
there's 4 of them in there. Yeah, it's pretty big.
I'd be a motherfucker if I told you I wasn't looking at this on Discogs this morning. I was like,
nice.
What if? I was like, what if? Who knows? What if? It's on the want list.
Nice.
But yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff on here, man. You know, we've talked about some of them. You know, 41's a great one. Satellite, really great acoustic work there. I kind of loved the 2-part aspect of Seek Up, you know, where you kind of like get lost. You almost get lost in that song. And, you know, really great songwriting, both instrumentally and lyrically on that. Yeah, I think this is a really good, if you know someone that's like, fuck Dave Matthews Band, blah, blah, you know, I don't like that shit, like his voice or whatever, be like, no, just listen to this. Like if they like music past a baseline level, I think that they'll appreciate this. I love this album personally. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's dive in. Couple songs we didn't talk about. Indeed Done, Minarets.
Yes.
Both epic songs. Minarets, I mean, that's just above and beyond. But diving into my top 3. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, you texted me and said, dude, Minarets is acoustic madness. And I said, acoustic madness, perfect way to describe this entire album, as you did at the beginning. Yeah. But yes, dude, Minarets is fucking awesome. I just wanted to echo that. Go ahead.
It's got an epic feel to it. But yeah, my honorable mention would be Minarets, just because of the, I don't know, just it has that feel that like that's the ballad of the album in a sense. It's got all the weird effects. It's got the harmonies. It's Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds doing their thing. Number 3, Typical Situation. Lyrically, I like that song. The way it starts, I like that song. Number 2, Halloween, just because it's funky, kind of weird, kind of unique. And then my favorite song was A Christmas Song. I just felt like he slows it down and just kind of does his thing. And I don't know, as much as I'm not a huge fan, I like that song.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Christmas song, definitely a banger. I don't know why, but listening to this, I just kept thinking of Adam Sandler. Like, I think Adam Sandler and Dave Matthews Band, Dave Matthews are like, so they occupy the same space in my brain almost. And so I hear Christmas song and I just think of like Hanukkah song, you know, just like the title and everything.
Oh my God.
I don't know why. Just had to throw that out there.
Smoke your marijuana.
Yep. Anyway, my honorable mentions, first honorable mention is Cry Freedom. When I called Matt, I started singing him that song. Great track. We talked about Satellite. That's my second honorable mention. Just that riff is just so catchy. Number 3 for me, also typical situation. Love that one lyrically, the way it starts off, very soft, very sweet, very good. Number 2 for me was number 41. Just I used to play for all of the loneliness is such a fucking great line. Just great song, and pretty good one to have like toward the beginning. And number 1 for me, Seek Up. One of the best songs I've heard in a long time. I constantly was replaying that one. Love like the 2-part aspect. Like I said, you kind of get lost in it. Lyrically, very nice. But yeah, Seek Up, number 1 for me.
Nice. We're kind of going all over the place with the track list here on our list, so I like it. Honorable mention Halloween. Kind of same thing. If you hear that funky weirdness of it. Number 3, I liked how it started off, One Sweet World. That's my number 3. I think that's a pretty solid introduction to a show. If you heard this live. Number 2 was, let me see, what did I put on here? Lover Lay Down. I like the lyrics of that song. It really stuck with me. And my favorite song was Trippin' Billies. I just like something about that. It was pretty catchy. Caught my ear. Kept coming back to it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Incredible. Great
It's
stuff,
that intro.
Matt.
That intro to that song is so good. With the guitar and then him singing like his different harmonies. It's like, yeah.
Hell yeah. Love it. That was Live at Luther College from Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds. Released in 1996. Great live album. Go ahead and give it a listen. That's Matt's pick to send us home for episode 92 of Whatchu Spinnin. But don't go away quite yet. We've got to let you know what's coming in about 2 weeks' time with our picks for episode 93. Go ahead and stick around. It's Whatchu Spinnin. Cool. Let's go ahead and let the people know what's coming. Like I said, in about 2 weeks' time for episode 93 of Whatchu Spinnin. We go in the order that we discussed today's picks, which means I'm up first. And I'm going back to 1989 and talking about another debut album. This is one, we've talked about this artist one time back in before even episode 20, I believe, going with 9 Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine. Fucking killer album. I've been listening to it a lot driving to work, and I figured, let's make this worth my time to do. So
I like it.
Yeah, Pretty Hate Machine, 9 Inch Nails.
I like it.
Nice. I'm interested in that one. This one I kind of picked up on a limb last time we were in Eugene. Our last episode 2 weeks ago. We went into a House of Records, and Angela saw this, was like, hey, I like this album cover. Let's pick it up. It was $3. And it's kind of one of those sketchy things where it could be the greatest thing you've stumbled upon or the biggest sack of horseshit. And I heard like one song of it. I think it's worthy. I'm coming with 1980. The album Spyro Gyra. Carnival. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this or at all. The sticker is still on it, by the way.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, I have not. I had no idea. The cover was kind of cool, so we picked it up. $3.
Hell yeah.
Any record store that puts their stickers or their price tag on the jacket, stop doing that. I hate you.
Don't do that.
But yeah, Spyro Gyro Carnival.
Nice. I had the 360 because Dorian must have read my mind because I had a Nine Inch Nails album picked out that I was going to do. I had 2, and I was like, I'm going to do this one because he mentioned something about that. But I had a backup, so don't worry. This is from 2023. It's a band called The Ironsides. This album's called Changing Light. It's kind of a jazzy, all-instrumental. It's kind of not big band, but like it's like you're in a 70s movie, and like it's so good. It's fun. I think you guys will like it.
I like that album. I'm excited.
I'm sorry for stealing your idea.
That's hilarious. I'm like, what? That was a rad.
But it's one of those, when you're like on the way to, and you're like trying to figure out what to play. I resort to Pretty Hate Machine so much lately that I'm just like, and I've had this for a while, that I'm like, yeah, I got to do it. So, maybe bring up whatever one. Do yours next. We can just do back-to-back Nine Inch Nails episodes.
I'll put it in my pocket for now.
Now I'm interested to hear which ones. I'll ask later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got Pretty Hate Machine by Nine Inch Nails, Carnival by Spyro Gyro, and then Changing Light by the Ironsides. That's going to be a banger of an episode for episode 93. But that'll about do it for episode 92 here of Whatchu Spinnin. That's Matt, that's Jake, and I'm Dorian. We've had a blast. It's been great. I think the move to Teams is going exceptionally well. But you at home, go ahead and tell people about the show. Listen to the 3 albums we just talked about. Listen to these 3 as we prepare to talk about them for episode 93. Ooh, look at that. He's rapping. Hold on. Let him cook. Go ahead and, share music with someone you love. Go see some live music. I'm about to go see Garcia Birthday Band again tonight. Fucking see you there, fellow deadheads in the area. But yeah, support local music, support local record stores, local businesses. Eat at a place you've never been. Make a dish you've never made. And tell someone hello, tell someone you love them, and send them a song they might like. And most importantly, tell them about Whatchu Spinnin. Follow us on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram as well. And yeah, we'll see you next time. It's Whatchu Spinnin. Peace out.